A master pair of skillful hand carries the wisdom of generation. From the sketching until the paper pasting, each movement breathes new life into traditional, shaping extraordinary creation. Let us dive into Chinese traditional culture and experience the charm of the paper effigies. In Malaysia, Chinese traditional culture, besides burning the incense and offering prayer, paper effigies are also an indispensable part. Paper effigies typically include paper representation of houses, transportation, mobile phone, and other modern items. By burning this item, the family hopes that the deceased can have a comfortable and better life in the other world. However, at the time, the majority of young generation are becoming unfamiliar with this tradition.
你知道什么是纸扎吗？
不知道诶。
They almost have no knowledge of paper effigies. The neglect and lack of understanding lead to the risk of this important cultural tradition being forgotten. In Penang, on Macklin Street, there is an old-established shop that specializes in paper effigies that is still uphold and preserve this traditional craftsmanship and culture, providing paper effigies for those in need.
My name is Samko. I have been working in the paper effigy industry for about 10 years. My father learned from his master and the master learned from their masters, passing down tradition from generation to generation. It's not really a family business, it's more volunteers that are willing to learn. We are all volunteers learning from the master. Nowadays, very few young people are willing to get involved in this industry. You don't need to have 100% interest to start entering this industry. From the 1960s until now, my father has grown old. I feel I have a responsibility to pass down this craft and business.
Paper effigies is also called paste paper. In Chinese, it means paste and cover. It implies the process of the craft. It is a craft that uses paper as the main material. Paper effigies are usually coated with a paste after the paper pieces are cut and layered and then adhered on the bamboo skeleton, making the paper effigies to be more strong and the three-dimensional. It is closely related to the traditional culture in China.
Possibly at least 500 years ago, if recorded, it is because there was no existence of paper effigies during the time of Emperor Qin Shi Huang. They used real items as offerings, even if it was a burial item. So when the emperor passed away, it was necessary to use the concubines as offerings for the burial. But as time changed, people became aware of the cruelty in this custom, no longer using living beings as sacrifices, and chose to change this custom. So people invented paper effigies to replace living sacrifices. This should be the origin of paper effigies.
In additional essence, people are also made terracotta warrior to substitute for living people in burial. Therefore, the paper effigy craft became popular among the public. Its images have prevented the cruel custom of using live being as sacrifice in burial.
If you want to pursue this craft, you don't need many materials or much experience. The most important thing is to have the right learning attitude and other things. Various colors of paper, bamboo, and some watercolor pigments. We also mix the glue ourselves. It's not much different from regular glue. We just mix flour and hot water, then stir until it becomes sticky.
These are the most basic tools and materials for making paper effigies. With them, master can skillfully use their skill that combine along with the materials and tools to create paper effigies that are extraordinary and unique. In addition, in the production of paper effigies, there are some taboos need to be avoided.
The taboo of making paper effigies is not to talk nonsense, but sometimes some paper effigies can't be photographed. There were some customers who took pictures before and then they went back and had a fever. Although they are based on beliefs, we still have to show reverence for things like gods and spirits. There is no taboo for girls to make this craft. As long as you are interested, you can study.
Nowadays, whenever paper effigies is mentioned, everyone has a stereotype about them. They often think of sacrifices or symbols of the dead. However, the purpose of the paper effigies goes far beyond this.
The use of paper effigies can also be divided into red events, celebrations, and white events, funerals. Both can be burned as a method. Red events such as deity birthdays. For deity birthdays, we will make items for the celebration. For example, horses or other items. If it's a funeral when someone passes away, they burn paper effigy houses, cars, and various daily necessities. As long as a customer places an order, we will make it. The Ghost Festival is also considered a deity celebration. Ghost marriage is a real ceremony, such as beds and cupboards in houses, daily necessities such as clothes, shoes. Some have also customized housekeepers and servants. And then there's also the making of paper effigy couples. There's also the bride's car. But in today's era, there are very few such things left. There used to be a lot of them over 10 or 20 years ago. At that time, there were still opportunities to see them. But now, ghost marriages are very rare. It is really rare to see nowadays. In special circumstances, if a pair of lovers unfortunately pass away together, or if there is a female ghost seeking a companion.
Paper effigies are also used in various festivals, lantern with different shape in Mid-Autumn Festival, showing beautiful Chinese culture. However, burning paper effigies is based on the certain practices and principles.
There are certain considerations regarding the location of the burning. First, you need to pay attention to whether there are any power lines or trees nearby to avoid a fire. Next, it's important to ensure that no careless or disrespectful remarks are made during the burning process, or tampering and playing with the fire. Another point is that burning must be at the crossroads or in front of the house. That's because the intersection is where the living road and the after road meet, and it's easier for the dead to receive sacrifices. There is no specific time designated for the burning. In most cases, it is arranged according to the master performing the ritual. According to tradition, the best time for burning is during the 7th month of the lunar calendar, Qingming festival, or festivals for the deceased and deity birthdays. Only then can the offerings be burned smoothly. The Qingming festival, or the 7th month of the lunar calendar, is when this ceremony is most commonly observed. If offerings are burned carelessly, the deceased will not receive them. There are designated places in the temple to burn offerings to ensure that the offerings will be received. Then we can put a seal. The seal indicates the name of the deceased and the time of burning. However, one cannot casually write the names of the living people. For example, you can specify your relationship with the deceased, but you cannot specify the names of the living people because this is a taboo. The seal also serves another purpose, which is to ensure other deceased individuals will not take offerings that do not belong to them. Not every deceased individual will receive offerings. So this is the purpose of the seal. Like people have names on their packages, ensuring that it is delivered to the right person.
Of course, paper effigies are not meant for comparison to show status or wealth. The important thing is to expressing your thought and memory of the deceased.
The items for worship are meant to carry sincere intentions, not to be measured by money. For example, this car is thousands of dollars. If there is a budget, then more luxury items can be burned. But if the budget is limited, just do what you can. The most important thing is the intention. Even if it's just lighting incense, that's fine.
It is not the more you burn the paper effigies that means filial piety. On the contrary, paper works as a bridge to convey emotion and blessing. However, with the advent of the new digital era, burning paper effigies conflict with the health of the environment.
你觉得纸扎对环境有影响吗？
Yes.
People on this side think that burning paper effigies will lead to environmental problems and even human health.
Actually, paper is already quite environmentally friendly. At least when paper burns, it turns into ash. There won't be much residue left behind. If it were plastic or styrofoam, that would be terrible. Those things are not environmentally friendly at all. So compared to other materials, paper is already quite environmentally friendly. In other countries, such as Taiwan, in Taipei, Taiwan, burning offerings is not allowed, especially paper effigies, even for funerals. The government has also introduced greener options, like the digital worship platform to worship the dead, without burning paper effigies or anything. They replace candles with electronic candles. Also use electronic products to send blessings to the deceased. Very scientific and technological. Many of them also begun to use flowers instead of paper effigies, the kind that is wrapped in bundles. It's more beautiful and environmentally friendly, but the price is not cheap either. Although the emergence of electronic versions makes sacrifices more environmentally friendly and convenient, but it has also created a sense of crisis regarding the gradual loss of paper effigy culture.
At the same time, passing down the paper effigy craft also faced challenges.
There are not many young people interested in learning this craft anymore. It may be due to a lack of interest. I don't know what the future holds. This industry has customer demand and competitiveness, but it is hard in this industry. This is more of a traditional craft that simply needs to be preserved. When there is no one to take over from the masters, this craft may face extinction. I fear that this craft will lose its value in society. Many believe that education and a high salary are the only paths, but that is not the case. Some people may engage in certain crafts and discover that they have a talent for it. If some people persist, there will definitely be other opportunities. We all know that it is not easy to survive in this society today. I consider myself quite lucky. I only received a high school education. At that time, my family did not have the financial means to support my further education. So that's it. I'm also involved in making music, but it cannot cover living expenses. I have been making independent music for a while. Another challenge is that the process of making paper effigies is very complex. Young people are unwilling to spend time learning. The most important thing about making paper effigies is to think. I believe that the human brain has limitless potential. As long as you have dreams and take action, your dreams could come true. But I emphasize that people need to have a plan and take practical action. Find your own answers. Planning, taking practical action, and seeking solutions. In the future, as long as there is one person wanting to worship, offerings must be burned. Therefore, there will still be demand for this industry. But the number of people who truly understand the tradition behind it will decrease. The significance behind the craft will quietly disappear.
Despite this, there are still a small number of young people who are passionate about the paper effigies. They strive to preserve Chinese traditional culture, allowing the next generation to be in touch with tradition. Although the number is small, but their efforts show a sense of responsibility to preserve cultural heritage, bring hope to the future of paper fragile craftsmanship. As a conclusion, paper effigies is not just a fate, but also a traditional virtue conveying affection, care, and nostalgia. Reminds people to cherish the loved ones and the special connection between people, so as not to regret later. In addition, every piece of paper effigy will be filled with the artisan effort and dedication, whether as a symbol of culture or the extension of art. Paper effigies bring rich cultural background and historical value, which is worth learning.
As for me, I will continue practicing this paper effigy craft until I grow old, to do my best to pass down the traditional culture and craft of paper effigies. Let it flourish and thrive in Malaysia.